Hey everyone, it's Jordan from Fish Keeping Made Easy and we're back again with the wild aquascapes. Now we're just back from a short trip where we stayed at this old mill. Now the most amazing thing about this is it came with its own river and waterfall. There were so many things around and it gave me so much inspiration for wild aquascapes, and of course, Seamus loved it too. Now, some people might remember from a few videos back that I really wanted to have a waterfall for a backdrop, so once I saw this I was really inspired. I was looking down all these little different streams and things looking for some inspiration, but the one thing that kept sort of sticking out was all the moss. There was trees covered in moss, there was walls covered in moss, and the closer I looked, the more species of moss that I just seemed to find, so I decided that I was going to make this aquascape primarily from moss. And once I started gathering hardscapes such as rocks and wood, I decided that I was going to do a Paludarium wild aquascape. Now, just a quick disclaimer, the majority, if not all of these mosses are terrestrial mosses. Now, I think they would all suit a Paludarium setup, but I don't think a lot of them would survive underwater in an aquarium. The mosses are being used for aesthetic purposes to replace actual aquatic moss in this aquascape. And this time, I had a little bit of assistance from Seamus. This time I decided to go without a substrate. I felt I had enough bits of hardscape and enough moss to cover the bottom of the tank. I started with large bits of mossy rock, as this would give the scape height. Next, I used this fern moss as a carpet. Next, I added some of the plain hardscape without any moss on it. The whole point in this was to try and create a divide between the top and the bottom of the tank, as without it, the tank would just look like it was filled with moss and you couldn't really tell the top from the bottom. Now, this piece of wood perfectly achieved the divide that I was looking for. You can now clearly see the top and the bottom sections, and it gives the scape a lot more height. Now, I wanted the tank to look a lot more dynamic, so I added some of these ferns to give it more of a 3D effect. It also kind of looks like little trees as well, so I kind of thought that was pretty cool. Once I stepped back and had a look at the scape, I felt like the wood stuck out a little bit too much, so I added some moss around the wood to make it blend in a little bit more. Finally, I added a few more ferns as I felt there was too many to the right, so I wanted to balance it out a little bit. I also felt the scape looked like a Scottish landscape with the ferns being trees at the top. And here's a few close-ups of the finished product. I added a few stones in order to stop the moss from floating away when I added the water. And now it's time to fill it up. So thanks for watching, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please subscribe and please like, follow us on Instagram at Fish Keeping Made Easy, and we'll see you in the next one.